Okay, so time for another update. What we have here is, I've got a couple of new parts. This came today. It's a 2.8 crossmember. I've got this instead of my Pinto one because that'll allow me to fit some power steering and make use of the V8's power steering pump, which would be a lovely upgrade. So this is courtesy of Martin at Capri Gear. I also got myself a new door as well, as my other one was looking pretty rough. I have gotten obviously the old crossmember out. This has allowed me to sort of slide the new RX-8 gearbox sort of into situ. I'm going to try and trial fit that this week. You can see over here, this is the old 2.8 suspension setup with the Pinto crossmember in the middle there. I'm going to unhook all this stuff and keep the 2.8 strut legs and track control arms and get a new power steering rack from somewhere. So what I've got here is, you can see that the RX-8 box is fitting in there quite nice. I think this is how it's going to sort of be in terms of where it's going to come out.
Okay, so I just done my first coat of Por 15. Apologies for my voice, I've got a respirator on. So it might be a little bit hard to understand, but this stuff stinks. It's pretty nasty apparently, so the advised respirator. Anyway, this is the first coat of Por 15. Looks really good. I got the gloss black, and you can already tell it's, even though it's still wet, it's pretty glossy. So I'm going to leave it to get a bit tackier and do a second coating, and let that dry and update you guys on the results.
Alright, so quick update. The engine and gearbox, I'm still waiting for them to be collected by Phil at Psycho Plates to get the adapter kit made, which is going to mate this RX-8 gearbox to the Rover V8. What's involved in that is I needed to source a Rover manual flywheel, is that there, and a manual pressure plate. And basically, I said before, but the the output shaft out the back of the gearbox and the prop shaft, the original Capri prop shaft, just goes together. So you'd have to shorten or change your prop shaft. And also the input shaft, the splines there mate perfectly well to the splines on the Rover clutch. So literally all that has to happen is you need to make an adapter plate so the bell housing to this gearbox mates to the Rover bolt pattern on the back of the engine. I need to fashion some kind of hydraulic clutch pedal, so that's going to be another video. And oh yes, a starter motor. I'm not sure, and Phil isn't sure how this is going to work. I said this. Phil at Cycle Plates has never done this before, so this is a prototype, I suppose. So he's going to be also taking videos and pictures of the process, and I'll try and include those if I get a hold of them. And the rest of the car is basically in the same state. The interior is still in bits while I finalise all the wiring. What's going to happen is the battery is sat here in the boot with a more modern blade fuse setup, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a nice big high gauge starter cable all the way down through the wing, if you can see, sort of through here all the way through there, following the original Ford wiring, so I've just through there. So I'm going to run a starter wire there, and I'm also going to run a second power line to all my accessories, so my alarm, my GPS tracker, and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so what else? Oh yes, I have got the fuel tank out. I've dropped the fuel tank out, and I've also dropped out the rear axle. and I'm working on finishing getting all the suspension out the back. So let's go under and have a quick look. Okay, so you see here the shock's out of there. There's just the leaf spring left hanging, which I'm working on getting out now. They're a bit of a pain because they are really corroded, so I've been doused them in plenty of penetrating fluid to get all that, to make an easier job of it. So as you can see under here, it's not too bad. There's a few bits of rust I've noticed in these back corners here, but it is just surface rust, so I think I've caught it all just in time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind all this back with the wire wheel and treat it in a good coating of Por 15, and then go over it all with Bilt and Hamber Dynax under seal and cover all of this. Give it all a real good coating. So you can see there's basically nothing left now. So my next job is to replace these leaf springs. Now, I had a bit of an issue where the U-clamps, which hold the axle to the leaves, these bolts started to loosen on me. I'm not sure how, but what I noticed was whenever I put my foot on the accelerator and the engine made torque, I could feel the rear end steering. So it would even, if I really went for it, it would almost try and change lane. Yeah, so it turns out it was just these bolts being slightly loose and the axle being able to sort of twist kind of this way, and thus steer the back end whenever any power was applied. So that was an easy fix, but the problem was it added lots and lots of stress, these leaves, and this leaf over here on the right hand side is actually bent. It has damaged the little eyelets here real bad, so I'm going to have to replace these. So in doing that, I've decided to, if I'm doing this, I'll do the whole thing. So I'm going to get new shocks and new bushes for basically everything. So here's my my Atlas axle. This is a 1.6 axle. Seeing as I was running the Pinto before, a 2-litre Pinto, the last owner decided to fit a 1.6 axle, so I think that's, I can't remember the ratio in the gears, but it's quite short. This allowed for kind of a nice revvy little 4-cylinder engine, but in my V8 build it's going to be no good. I'm going to be doing, you know, I don't know, 15-20 miles an hour in first and topping the engine out at like 85 miles an hour, so that's no good. So I'm going to fit 3.77 V6 rear gears in this, and hopefully, if I can get my hands on one, an LSD, that will be the perfect thing. But they're so rare and they're very expensive, so not sure if that's going to be realistic. But that's basically all my plan for this. It's kind of nasty, so I'm going to hit it again with that grinder wire wheel and get it nice and clean. Por 15 it up, change the oil in it, change the gears, maybe fit some longer studs as well, so I can space these back wheels out and get a good nice clean tuck on the wheels at the back. Maybe fit some really large wheels, maybe some 9-inch or 8-inch wheels. Here we have the rear anti-roll bar. This thing's actually kind of pathetic. No wonder the thing rolls so much at the back. I'm not sure if there's a sort of uprated one you can buy, or what. So what I'm doing is I'm replacing these bushes. They are really bad. In fact, I think there was an advisory on the last MOT. I mean, they're horrible. So I've gone and bought some poly. Where are they? There they are. Some poly things. So hopefully this is going to make my life a bit easier, make the ride a bit better. and I'm going to put those wherever I can. I'm also going to replace these because these look really worn too. I think maybe Rally Design or someone will do uprated versions of these because these are pretty crap. Really old. Oh yes, latest purchase. These things are amazing, especially for getting bolts like this off here. Before, just using regular spanners, I would be rounding them all day long, whereas these things just go on there and do a fantastic job. They also made quick and easy work of things like fuel lines and brake lines and stuff. That was a godsend getting this thing out. Yeah, so that's that. I don't really know what's next, to be honest. Probably getting that V8 sorted out, buying myself a welder and practicing getting some engine and gearbox mounts made together. Yeah, so keep tuned, and I'll update with another video.